Okay, I'm standing right now in front of Joseph Regenstein Library, which you will remember is the great research library of the University of Chicago. When the university opened, it had a lot of ambitions, and it already, by 1900, had a lot of library books, owing to the proclivities and ambitions and kind of good luck of the early faculty in collecting important research materials. In 1912, the Harper Library opened as our main research library, and it was a wonderful place, but it was too small the day it opened. That's a phenomenon that often happens. You build a building for one situation, and kind of life overtakes you. And beginning in maybe 1913, 1914, conversations started. Well, what can we do? Harper is soon going to be filled. The population of the university, especially after World War I, began to grow. There were many more students, many more faculty. And so this took decades of conversation. There were all kinds of different plans and options, building a new central library in the central quadrangles, adding on more wings to Harper, which basically would have been a terrible idea architecturally. And finally, the idea emerged that we should build a library on this site, which is the site of the old Stag Field. This was the original athletic field of the university, on land that was given to the university by Marshall Field, another great department store magnate like Leon Mandel. This building was designed by Walter Netsch of Skidmore, Owings and Merrill. It opened in 1970, and it now is kind of not only the main research facility of the university, along with the new Mansueto Library, which adjoins it, but it's also, in a sense, for our undergraduate at least, the closest thing we have to a student union or a student center. And I've always thought it's quite wonderful in terms of the values and the kind of culture of the university that we're probably one of the few universities in the country where the dean could say that our library is also our student center, which is actually quite true. The library was designed to be a graduate research library. That is to say, it was built at a time when there were very large and growing doctoral programs. But the undergraduates, the day it opened, the undergraduates also went in the building, and such was history. It's now a library that serves all the student populations at the university, including the 7,000 undergraduates that make up our college. This building is also important in terms of the history of philanthropy at the university. It was made possible by a $10 million gift from the Regenstein family. Joseph Regenstein was a local industrialist, a very successful businessman who had passed away, and his family gave this gift in honor of his memory. It came at a time when the university was trying to rebuild itself from the financial problems that it had endured in the 1950s. And the Edward Levy, who was the president and then the provost at the time, Edward Levy becomes president in 1968. He then is able to open the library and dedicate it in 1970 as president. For Levy and for the faculty at the time, the construction of this building was a very symbolic act of kind of a forward-looking, an act of hope, an act of confidence that the university would be able to restore the luster that it had attained in the 1920s and 30s that had been kind of somewhat embattled in the 1940s and 1950s with all of the financial problems we were enduring. And this building became a kind of symbol that in a sense, the university was back in business. It was going to resume its activities as one of the great universities of the world. And the library still, in a sense, conveys that aura of confidence, that aura of ambition, that aura of a kind of steely determination to continue to push forward in establishing ever newer frontiers of knowledge. It's a wonderful place to work. I have a library study here. I've written several family-sized books in this library. It's a great place to work because it has open stacks. And when visitors come from Europe who are not used to that, this is kind of like a Shangri-La that you can go in the building, go into the stacks, and get lost and come out with 40 or 50 books, or maybe not that many, but as many as you can carry. You don't have to order them, except in pandemic times as we are in now. Hopefully that will pass next year. So it's a great functional place to do research and to study, and one of the great assets of the University of Chicago.